I'm very simplistic with what I like. I hate anything complex. I loathe. As far as the stuff on my rifle, I've been speccing this thing out for 2 years. But if I had to grab one rifle for like home defense, urban, semi-intermediate range work, this is going to be it. I have a different rifle if I need to go a little bit further. I have a full 4-power ACOG on that. So this is a complete BCM rifle. I ordered the upper directly from BCM, and then I got the lower, is also a BCM complete lower. I ordered a 14.5 barrel or upper, and I have a buddy at Surefire that hooked me up with a 4-prong flash hider. I hear that these are actually kind of rare out as far as like being able to just commercially get a 4-prong. I think they recently commercialized them and let people buy them, but I intend to put a Surefire RC2 on this at some point, and throughout the entire class I ran the Surefire QD Warden on it to help my buddies to my left and to my right. Yeah, that just QDs right on, just like a normal Surefire can, and it just helps throw the concussion downrange. It's also handy if you're working in and around tight spaces like a vehicle. As far as keeping things simple and tight, I have a Surefire Scout Mini right there with a simple push button that I reach my thumb forward and hit. I don't like pressure pads. I've had bad experiences with pressure pads downrange. And then on the very top, I have a Streamlight TLR VIR2. This does have visible white light mode, but what this is intended to be for is this is an IR designator and illuminator. And then optics. Time I talked to James in the video, I keep mentioning I'm a prepper. So my main thing that I get concerned with when it comes to preparedness is an EMP. And in my opinion, we've never been closer to the threat of a large-scale nuclear electromagnetic pulse in the world's history. And the target's on our backs. So in an electromagnetic pulse, theories vary on what exactly will be disabled, but the shorthand of it is that most, if not all, electronic devices would be either interrupted or permanently damaged. There's theory goes back and forth on whether or not, like, simple flashlights that don't have an antenna would go down or whatever. But if there's one thing on this rifle I want to make sure stays up and I don't have to think about it, it's the optic. The thing that makes my bullets go where I want them to go. So I have a Trijicon TA44 mini ACOG on here. It's a 1.5 magnification. What I like about it is when I'm doing CQB work, especially if you're shooting with both eyes open and utilizing the bin and aiming concept for what it's for, it feels like there's no magnification. It's a very, very well suited, very well suited CQB optic. Bear in mind that this has an etched reticle. It's not a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a holographic, meaning if you move your head, the little, the reticle moves with it. That's not this. This does have some parallax, so just keep that in mind. So you got to have good presentation, consistent presentation to get good hits. Half the time when I'm behind my rifle, I couldn't tell if I was getting hits with a shooting steel. Was I hitting today?
Yeah, you weren't having a problem with it.
Yeah. So just again, it's the Indian, not the arrow. This just helps me get the hits, and it does what I want. Has a little fiber optic thingy that it absorbs ambient light, and it has tritium in there. But I have the circle dot reticle. I'm that guy that just admits when he does dumb stuff. I don't care if it makes me look stupid, because it might help one of you guys out. I honestly didn't know what my hold was at, what were we shooting at day one?
5 yards.
I didn't know what my hold was at 5 yards. I probably should have known. Prior to that, I would have just put the reticle straight on what I was shooting and just did it. But that's the cool thing about putting yourself into an environment where you're stretching yourself outside your comfort zone. It forces you to figure things out. That's why you need to come take classes. So the circle and the dot, I run a 36-yard zero. I know you guys like a 50. I like a 36. It's a free country.
Hey, yeah.
So I have the dot of my circle dot zeroed for 36 yards, and then there's a vertical post that's kind of meant to be a just a guiding tool. And the very bottom of that post, when you were talking like, hey, mind your offset, I was like, I'll give it a shot. I put the very bottom of the post where I wanted the bolt to go, and it was the perfect holdover for like true CQ.
Yeah. Yeah, and we say that with that, like, the EOTech style or the Holosun, where it's got that circle dot, like that bottom hash, might work out for you. Like, it's going to depend on your riser height, all that stuff. Like, you put that on top of a carry handle, and it may not be perfect for you. But
like my homie today, my good buddy Brad, he calls it his Delta Block 2 rifle. So it's like a Frankenstein between a Delta carbine and a Block 2 Block 2 rifle, a Block 2 M4. So he's got a carry handle with an aim point on top of it, and then he's got like a Riz rail, quad rail on it as well. It looks weird, but it's cool. It's so cool. And then just a BCM stock and a BCM grip. That's the rifle in a nutshell. You want to talk about the class?
you came down. Was this your first time taking a rifle?
Yeah, this was my first time rifle.
So first time with a rifle class with us. So we started out with some pistol work. Like, you may have been like, "Oh man, like I came here for the big gun stuff."
Well, I was nervous.
I'd like to get your thoughts on, you know, what were your expectations coming in, and how was it different? Because I know we didn't deliver exactly what you thought you were gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's, you know, kind of what we do. We try and over deliver on expectations, but it's gonna be a little different than what you're thinking.
When you asked us what we were looking to get out of the class at the very beginning before a single shot was fired, what was my answer? The thing that I wanted.
You were saying that you wanted some experience kind of on land warfare type stuff. Like, you've got the experience messing around with this, going boat to boat and climbing those ladders and stuff, but, you know, moving around and working with teammates on land was something that you wanted some experience in. Yeah. So, like, some of you guys may already know, but just because someone's a veteran doesn't mean that they're experts with, like, all the things. I mean, I had a very specific role when I did VBSS. It was all CQB related, had nothing to do with land warfare, and, like, I wanted more experience and training on how to do land warfare. And when I said that, Lewis is like, well, like, you know, there's other classes we do that really focus on that, but that's not exactly what we do here at Fighting Rifle. But I feel like it was, you know, based on my understandings, like, is the conceptual understandings of land warfare, like the basics, the primary basics of land warfare are really covered in Fighting Rifle. See, and I'm just a dude, right?
Yeah.
So I hear, like, land warfare, and I'm thinking, like, wait, we don't have teams
artillery
to call in. And, you know, we're not dropping artillery on them, or we got no choppers to call to help us out. So, like, this class might not.
No, as far as basic soldiering skills, it's there. I would say what probably pops up more in, like, maybe Fighting Rifle, and most definitely in high-risk civilian contractor, is team movements and setting up, like, L-shaped ambushes and, like, bounding teams around and all that stuff. The movement part, cover and move, you need to be able to shoot, move, and communicate. The shoot, the move, and the communicate are definitely covered in Fighting Rifle with a fight-ending tool in your hands, not just a pistol. So, but yeah, that part of it was awesome. As far as, like, some of my big takeaways, what did I say at the range? Number one, like, so the kit I was running, I ran 3 mags across the chest, 1 under the armpit, 1 in the gun, and then I had the ability to carry, like, 1 more in my gun belt with the rig I was running. But really quickly, like, you understand very soon, if you know a soldier or if you've studied this a lot, like, the basic soldiering loadout is 14 magazines. You understand why very quickly. So one of my big takeaways was, for my hero suit or my SHTF rig, like, you need the ability to carry more mags, but you need to be able to do that in a manner that does not inhibit your ability from getting as low to the ground as possible. Because another big part of land warfare, in the absence of cover, your rifle is your cover, and your nuts need to be in the dirt. Like you need to dig yourself a hole pretty much. I'm gonna go home and play around with other ideas on how to carry more magazines that are accessible, because what some dudes do is they put extra mags in their pack. Great. I'm in a gunfight now. Like I don't want to be digging in a pack, so I'm thinking like maybe a bandolier or something that I can shove out of my way. I'll have to get back to you guys when I come up with the perfect solution.
I'll tell you what, this hinging thing, something like that, I would love to have
on a
higher
subload?
up on my subload.
Okay. So more to come on that. You guys are probably getting, too much of a peek up the dress on a product developer. But so other takeaways. One of them was more ammo, because like the drill we had, like load 5 mags, and we're going, how far is that? Maybe 100 yards of bounding. Maybe 100 yards of bounding, and like you get to the end, and you're bingo on ammo. You're down to your pistol, and that's not where you want to be in a rifle fight. So. A way to carry more ammo, but also a way, this is going to come with more training, managing your ammunition expenditure. I was watching you, and you were literally counting. What was it, a 4-second?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a 4. He was counting before he fired his next shot. He would obviously pick up tempo when his homie's moving, not when he's screwing with shit behind his piece of cover. And then the final big takeaway I got from it was physical fitness. I'm terrible about managing my own physical fitness. They say the first step to recovery is admitting it, I guess, but I'm terrible about managing my physical fitness. I compete in the tactical games, and when I know I have a tactical games coming up, I'm actually signed up to do the one in Iowa in July.
Okay.
So what I'll do, I'm the cram before the exam type of cat. So I'll, typically I work out, real hard right before, so I make sure I don't look like a complete idiot. But I've been working out a little bit prior to this, but like maintaining a fighter's level of fitness.
Like how fit do you want to be on the day that you have to fight for your life? And that fight may never come.
Yeah,
right?
Freaking Rambo First Blood is how fit I want to be.
Right. But at the same time, like, I don't think like that fight is getting any farther away. We talk about taking steps down the warrior path. I've kind of changed my body and changed my habits over the last few years here, like, to be a more effective fighter. And I'm glad you're bringing it up, because then it lets me hop on the soapbox and tell everybody, like, do something for 5 minutes. Like, add something in for 5 minutes a day that you weren't doing before, and you're going to be in better shape. We did the cover and concealment drill, right? So it's a drill where you're there by yourself, like the bad guy is not putting much pressure on you. You're just like moving in basically a 6-foot radius, but you're kneeling, you're on your back, you're fetal, you're standing, back to kneeling, and like everybody is out of breath when they finish that drill. We tell everybody, like, hey, if this thing is gonna like affect you in some kind of way like that, like, hey, we can modify it. Like, if standing is the answer, that you stay standing in that cover and concealment drill, and it keeps you from being totally out of breath and not able to process the lesson, then let's do it all from standing. You get to watch the other people go, so we can learn, using our mirror neurons from watching this dude go. And I've got the lecture of it, like, take the notes and go home and practice it on your own. Like, it's weird because we're dudes, and the people who show up for a rifle class are dudes, and it's like, hey, if you want to, you don't have to do the get up, get down 17 times, because we got more shit to do after that. And then nobody takes me up on that offer. You know what I mean? Because everybody wants to try and tough it out, but like you said, then their brain shut off, and they're, instead of receiving the more information.
It just, this all makes me think of something you said on day one when we were all like chit-chatting. You're like, yeah, dudes like have like a front grip out there, and they have their flights and all that stuff, and they get that cool seat clamp grip and look all the Instagram coolness, right? You said by the end of the day, like, your hand works back to the receiver and you're propping your elbows on your kit, and like, I know because I've been there before already, and like I know that, but I just found it odd. Like on the last drill, like I did that because like you needed to accomplish the mission. You know what I mean? You get tired, you get fatigued. You're not, you know, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Like, people get tired.
Yeah, and they do multiple takes
Yep.
in the movies. Like he didn't do all that Rambo shit back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah, like,
you know.
So I mean, suffice it to say, soldiering is work, and you need to have your physical fitness at a level that you can accomplish said work. You know.
It was worth the journey.
We've got a 17-hour drive back home to South Dakota. We drove down here for this, and I think it's going to be some really good conversations on the way home.
Awesome.
Yeah, they got a lot out of it.
Awesome. Well, Justin, thank you for coming down.
Thank you for teaching us.
Yeah, dude, it was a pleasure. It was a great class. Guys, sign up, come down. If you've got fighting pistol, if you've got the medical class, if you've got the fight already under your belt, it's probably about time to learn how to use your big gun. So come on down, book a fighting rifle, jump on the website. I think the link should be right below us here in the description. Book your fighting rifle class with us. And remember, your responsibility to be ready for the fight never ends.